We are going to have to, for the purposes of the war and the deficit, which was largely created by the war, plus some tax policy that was instituted in the 2002 and 3, we're going to have to increase our tax revenue. Plain and simple. There is no way to deal with the deficit unless you do a balance, which means revenues and hold your expenditures down. We have to do it. And that's part of the discussion that's going on in the presidential campaign and in congressional campaigns all across the country. Now, is it specifically for veterans? Yes, it is specifically for veterans and for other things. The cost of dealing with the veterans coming out of these two wars is going to be mega billions. We don't know. The estimates of the cost of the war in Iraq was $1 trillion, and Afghanistan's headed towards the same number. So whether it's a specific tax directly for the veterans, no, it's going to be a broad tax. It's going to be used to pay for the cost of governmental services, a major part of which are the veterans. And it's, you know, no matter what's being said out there, there is no way that the deficit can be dealt with. There's no way that veteran services are going to be able to be paid for in the future, plus all the other things that we need to do as a civilized country, unless we increase our tax revenues. Now, if you want to get into a debate about or a discussion about the two tax proposals, I could do that too.
Well, do you like the idea of labeling it as a war tax? It sort of takes away the argument of Mitt Romney, oh, you're taxing the job creators who make $1 million a year, or President Obama saying we don't want to tax the middle class. It certainly could change the dynamic of the war in Afghanistan if there's a tax that's specifically applied to it.
John, the only war in anybody's memory or history book that was never paid for with a tax was the Iraq and the Afghanistan war. It was all borrowed money. And it continues to this day to be mostly borrowed money. So we should have, back in 2002, when all this began, not cut taxes going into a war. But that's exactly what George W. Bush wanted to do, and he did. Most of those tax benefits did go to the wealthy. And there are very few sound economic arguments that that's the job creators. The job creators are really the middle class that are willing to buy things, that have money to buy things. It's where the jobs are really created. Obviously, businesses responding to that. I don't want to get into who built the business, but it's that economic growth that comes from the ability of the middle class to spend money. And we're not there.